Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
Send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Do we want to open the can of worms that is the recent decision to hire Sylar? Is that something we kind of want to round out the episode with?
Sure.
Hep, you want to crack that baby open?
Oh boy, I guess I can. Yeah, I mean, okay, I guess I'll start it off by this, so that how I hadn't really read the terms of service agreement before, because I knew it wasn't really going to apply to me. And then, after this whole Sylar announcement, and everybody kind of talking about how, the terms of service were sort of ambiguous and or they didn't really cover someone providing the tool. It only covered people who were using the tool. And so I took a look at what the terms of service said, and I think I disagree with that there's any ambiguity.
And for folks that don't know, Hep is he works in the legal realm. He's a degreed lawyer.
So yes, I am a degreed lawyer, I guess is a good way to put it. Yeah, no, I mean, I've written terms of service before. Clients have paid me to do this and look into this. And so, yeah, so I said the terms, they clearly state, I'll read them. It talks about what you cannot do. It says, by way of example, and not as a limitation, you may not allow any third party to, and then it, talks about different things. Then it goes into utilize automated players within the following context: modern format ranked matches, brawl matches, tournament matches. Yeah, so I just think that, that where they say that you may not allow a third party to, I think that covers what Sylar is doing. I think that covers him. The game's the first party, he's the second party. He was allowing third parties to utilize automated players in that context. So I think what he did was clearly a violation of the terms of service. I know there's a lot of reasons that people have made that why this is a good thing for him to be on the team, and I agree with those. I think he knows the game, he knows what he's doing, he's clearly very good at it, and maybe he's sort of the best person for the job. But I just think that what he did was a clear violation. He knew what he was doing, and he knew what he was doing was wrong. And I mean, someone said, "Oh, well, he had that apology," and I was like, I did not think that was really any apology or any recognition of wrongdoing. And the statement he had, or whatever that you want to call that, and it just seems like he flagrantly violated the rules. Everybody kind of knew he was doing it. A lot of people know a number of the people who were using the service to cheat, and it's like, well, instead of making this a big messy thing, we're just gonna give him a job. And I've referred to it as, we've now hired the fox to watch the hen house, and there's no repercussions to anyone. And I'm right now not really happy about it. And if maybe he does great things and goes on to make amends, and further down the line everything's okay. But where I sit right now, I'm just not super happy about it. Mondroy, definitely want to get your opinion. This obviously, is an issue that affected you really more than it affected me. I'm sure, as someone who's fighting for the leaderboard and positions in champ, people using this kind of definitely negatively affected you more than me. So I would love to get your take on it and know how you feel.
So yeah, I mean, as someone who hates the battle helper and hates all that as basically as much as you can, it's pretty disturbing, right? To know that the guy who basically allowed a lot of that to happen is gonna get, a free pass. It seems like all the cheaters are gonna get a free pass. I don't think there's gonna be any bans or any naming to come out of this. And so that's a bit disappointing. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about it. It's like I'm desperate for this to work because I just, from my position, it would be so much better for me if he could actually stop the battle helper. It's kind of weird though, because the guy was adamant that it's impossible, but now he's taken the job to do it. So I don't know. I'm optimistic, but it is what it is. I'm hoping for the best is all I can really say, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, we were talking a little bit off air before we hit record, and I listened back to, once we had the announcement come out a couple of days ago, I went back and listened to the episode that we hosted Sylar for last summer. It was after the no bot modern proposal had passed. The implementation of said proposal had not quite happened yet, so it was an interesting window. And Sylar, we specifically called out the fact that Sylar openly acknowledged and very black and white plainly stated that he would play ball with the new terms of service. And we started asking some questions, kind of going down the rabbit hole of, well, do we expect to wake up in this new ranked era with a bot free zone, and questions kind of, like I said, going down the rabbit hole of what could happen if. And a lot of the responses were, in hindsight is obviously 2020, but a lot of the responses were kind of clearly pointing to exactly what transpired. So unfortunately, I feel like there was a plan to continue operating the battle helper post ban. I think it just took time for the number of players who were in the know that this private battle helper was available and could be hired, and maybe there was something to be said for the pacing of onboarding folks to this new battle helper, because it didn't really become obvious that this was happening until December, January, and maybe a big part of that becoming obvious was a result of Untamed exiting, and a lot of the folks at the top of the leaderboard were, or a lot of the I should say a lot of the folks competing in champ were all of a sudden on very even ground. Everybody had access to, for the most part, Max Rebellion, Max Chaos Legion, and fairly even footing with the Soulbound cards. So at that point, it wasn't, okay, well, I've got Kitty, or he's got Kitty, I should have lost that match, sort of thing. So it wasn't until much further down the road that the battle helpers kind of reared its ugly head, and then we've obviously seen evidence in some form or fashion of transactions, $50 here, $50 there, monthly recurring revenue going to XYZ wallet. And I still don't know if anybody's ever confirmed that Sylar is tied to that, but all roads point to this being an XBOT run private helper. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Hep, you called out earlier the the fox being hired to tend to the hen house, and my personal opinion is I would rather have Sylar working for us than against us, assuming that all of this stuff stops. So I'm hopeful that in negotiations for whatever this contract looks like between the team and Sylar, that there's a high degree of oversight that's written in to allow the dev team and or Matt to take a look at how Sylar is operating, if he's playing fair within his new role and list of responsibilities. And I think Sylar, whether or not he was the culprit of this battle helper, is irrelevant. His trust is completely eroded in most of the community, and he's got a long road ahead to earn that back. So with that in mind, I am really hopeful that he makes some really big waves in addressing any outstanding battle helper usage that exists. Once his tenure officially begins. Because I think it's pretty well known, and Mondre, maybe you can confirm this, that there's certain guilds that have access to maybe a private in-house battle helper, something like that. And that is to say that it's not the service that people are assuming is being offered from Sylar. So I'm really hopeful and I'm optimistic that he's able to bring. He's obviously a capable developer and programmer. I don't think there's any denying that. We talked about it earlier. XBOT is and almost immediately became the clear front runner for third-party offerings of automation and subsequently battle help. So he's clearly a capable dude with the technical prowess to kind of navigate this stuff probably better than most other folks. That said, I hope he's able to back it up and we're officially entering into a new era of battle helper free modern. Yeah, just my 2 cents.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, just if certain players really fall off or not, and what the tournaments look like, or I should say the standings, the final day, whatever, who's landing where. And yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see how it goes, I guess. And like I said, I'm hoping for the best on that, but the worst would be, hey, he's in charge of anti-battle helper and just, still has his battle helper for everybody to use, So we'll just, yeah, I don't know. There's not much else for me to say about it.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to see. I don't know if it's ever going to be revealed, but I would like to see the contract. We were doing some rough math off the air, and if Sylar was employed by 50 people, $50 a month, that's $2,500 a month. I think the reality was probably closer to maybe 150 accounts. $50 of monthly recurring revenue for each of those accounts. You can very quickly go from 2,500 to 5,000 to $7,500 a month, which is obviously a very lucrative business for Sylar, especially if it's side hustle. And once you start moving into that $7,500 a month, that's real world career type money. So I'd be curious to see what does that contract look like. I don't know if it will be revealed, but are we paying him well enough to completely disincentivize any foul play? And is he a full-time employee? Is he on contract? And then to take it a step further, what falls in his responsibility list? Yeah, go ahead, Hep. I know you had something to say.
Yeah, no, I said I'm hopeful as well. Like I said, Mondroid, I'm hopeful that, in the long term, this is in the best interest of the game. I just feel like in the short term, it's sort of there's all these issues that are, not being addressed and being kind of swept under the rug. And, it would be nice if they were addressed in some way, or there was something that made you feel good about the situation, right? Or made you feel that you didn't have to have that concern. Right, Jangles, like you said, that this is going to be, he's disincentivized from doing this, right? Because he said before that he's going to work with the team and follow the rules, but then also kind of made it very clear and was going to be shady about it and go behind everybody's back and do this stuff in secret. And yeah, what lessons did he learn getting caught this time that will keep him from getting caught next time? And what advantages does he have that he's now sitting in that, that seat where now this is what he's the one in charge of this. So I don't like to be super negative and be distrusting of people, but I think when people show you that they're distrustful, that they then have to do even more to show you that they can be trusted. And I don't feel like we've even come close to even getting started down that road with him yet. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I will say that there's, as a response to some comments that we've made over the last couple of episodes, some listeners have reached out and have, as of this point, anonymously assumed the role of the vigilante whistleblower. So I think there's been plenty of research done in the background. I think a Splinterlands Wall of Shame is in the works, and if the team's going to choose not to do anything, or to choose to do something, regardless of the decision of the team to either address and apply punishment to said violators or not, the Wall of Shame is something that's coming down the pipeline, and it's my understanding that this is going to be something that's posted on the blockchain permanently. I think there's Twitter accounts and probably YouTube accounts that are going to be made to support this, and yeah, something's coming. I think the community is feeling very similarly to the three of us on this episode, that it's obviously a very polarizing decision, and folks would have liked to have seen said violators and said third-party provider punished, and instead of necessarily rewarded. But yeah, maybe there's something to be said for street justice that could be applied. And I would still love if I think I mentioned it with the Trulls episode, the irrevocable title of Scarlet Letter. I think that would be awesome. I don't know if we'll ever get that, but maybe the Splinterlands Wall of Shame is the next best option.
Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing some of that.
Nice. All right, gentlemen. Well, Mondroid, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here, man. I know we went kind of back and forth about whether or not we could make this happen. I'm very appreciative that you did take us up on the request, and you made an appearance. Before we completely wrap this thing up and put a bow on it, was there anything else you wanted to talk about, address, call out?
Really just the emphasis on making the rewards better, and not just from like an SPS perspective, but I truly believe we just have to make the game more interesting in that regard. If we want people to come here and invest tons of money, getting staked SPS, getting the cards to play, we need to make it more interesting. Right now we kind of do like the financial version of like tightening. We've cut the rewards, we've gotten rid of packs out of chests, we're gone to soulbound cards. And so why would people come and play for those? I just think we have to do something about that to kind of turn things more exciting.
Yeah, that's fair. And something that we didn't mention as a result or potential result of the new reward structure is SPS being the only real tangible asset that is tradable, is that additional sell pressure that's being applied to SPS.
Yeah, exactly. It's just constant sell pressure, because anybody who needs to, get more DEC to keep renting cards to keep playing, right? They have to sell their SPS. They have to keep doing that to keep churning. And so it'd be nice if there were other rewards you could sell to churn, at least to make that enough to keep going. So I don't know. I think it would be more exciting. Like you said, it's kind of free marketing when you can post on X, your big pull or whatever, and get some eyeballs on the game, easy, low-hanging fruit.
Okay, well let's wrap this baby up. Again, Mondroid, thank you again, dude. And I think we've with the amount of times that I tell people they're 100% welcome back anytime. Just reach out. I think we'll probably have the rest of the year fully booked for episodes, but I'm gonna keep doing it anyways. You've got an open invitation here, man. You're welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to hop on and shoot the breeze, talk shop. And as it goes with all of our guests, you've got an open invitation for the battle royale stuff as well. If you're keen to wipe, I don't know if everybody else will appreciate that I'm inviting you on, because I have it. I imagine how things will go as soon as Mondroid enters the fray on the battle royale. But it'd be fun to have you if you're keen to hop on, man. You're more than welcome.
We'll see if that modern ranked queue can get a little faster. I'll have some more time on my hands to join you guys.
Sweet. Fair enough. All right. Any final words from you, Hep?
Nope. Said it all.
All righty. All right, everybody. Well, hope you enjoyed the show. Been absolute pleasure hosting Mondroid. Lots of food for thought to be taken away from this episode. Hopefully we see some of this stuff grow legs. I'd love the parallel business model to come into play with the deck. I don't think that this is the last that we've heard of it. Hopefully it starts making airwaves in places like Discord and on Peaked. But yeah. Alrighty. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in. You have been listening to
The People's Guild.